will do it.
It didn't sound bad on my end.
Anyways, we're recording. Matt, do the intro.
Take two, everyone. Welcome to Jupiter's CROCK here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. My name is Matthew, joined once again by my my legionnaires, Steve.
Yes, I'm here, and hopefully you all in the future actually get to listen to this.
And Ronan.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. This episode sucks. Let's get through it. Let's get to it. Steve, start it off. So let's bang out. This was the longest 50 fucking minutes ever.
We're not done milking this.
Jesus Christ.
So Steve is having all kinds of massive tech issues on his end. For once, it's not on my end. Which
I feel like I can still probably trace it back to you. Like enough of you is rubbed off on me.
No.
Intimately.
Not taking. Now, we are in the midst of watching Season 2 of Rome. We're trying to finish that up. Ronan is going through pain right now, Ronan. Like, explain to the audience how you feel every time that we're like, all right, Ronan, fire up another episode of Rome.
I feel bad. I feel like you guys don't respect me. I feel like my opinions aren't heard or recognized. I feel like you guys take advantage of me. And it's just, I just feel like that needs to change. Just all.
Okay, I think what you said is all fair there and accurate, but I don't think we're going to change. So we have like 7-8 more episodes to go. We are on episode 3. I believe it's called what? These are the words
of Cicero something.
Cicero.
I did literally, once we finished this up, I went into the episode like, okay, let's see here. This says, all right, 3 more Sundays. 3 more Sundays.
These being the words of Marcus Tullius Cicero. And so, Ronan, I'm going to respect you. You want to get right into it. I'm going to turn it over to Ploticus. Take us through this riveting, exciting episode of HBO's Rome.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna need your help. I watched this 2 days ago, and so much yet so little happened. I feel like I don't know that I can properly Ploticus my way through this, but I'm gonna try. This is by far the worst episode that I have seen in this series. It was so boring. I gave so few fucks about everything happening. Ronan is 100% correct on this one. He's gotten it wrong a few times before. This is one of those rare Ronan wins.
Yep, I agree. Not to bury the lead, this is probably the weakest episode we've watched.
All right, so
good. We can just stop it there, can't we?
No, I'm gonna do my best. Mark Antony is his governorship or consulship, whatever the hell it is, of Rome is coming to an end, and he's going after he's done with Rome, he's going to go be the governor, I think, Macedonia, and he's done with politics, he's done with the military. He just wants to fucking go somewhere and live quietly and peacefully while also being rich and powerful. And so he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to Rome or I'm going to Macedonia. But Adia had just gotten really good advice from Octavia's drug dealer about how Macedonia sucks. And so Octavia just comes and is like, yeah, this is my friend, the wide-eyed drug dealer. And so Adia... you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Adia goes in and smokes some weed with her daughter, and the daughter happens to be from Macedonia. I don't even remember. It's somewhere that's not Rome. I think it's Macedonia, but
it's Macedonia.
All right. It sucks there. Everything sucks there. It's boring. It's stupid. No one should ever want to go to Macedonia. So Adia takes
all the women are hideous and ugly.
The men would rather fuck sheep. Wasn't that something they said?
Yeah, and she can't blame them half the time. But Macedonia sucks. And so Mark Antony is like, I don't care, I'm going to Macedonia. But then Adia is like, well, wait a minute, Mark Antony, what about your enemies? The only reason no one's killing you here is because we're in Rome and you have power. if you get just sent off to Macedonia, you'd be away from all your allies, all your support. You basically going to Macedonia opens you up to retribution from all the people that have been holding off for the last 10 million years that the course of this series has gone down since the beginning of the episode. And Mark Antony's at first he's kind of I'm not listening to you, but you see he gets this kind of look like, oh shit, fuck, maybe this is a bad idea. And Adia starts smiling because she knows she's worm-tongued Mark Antony again. So Mark Antony hatches a plan. He brings Cicero in, and he tells Cicero, hey, you know what? How about instead of going to shitty Macedonia, how about I go to Gaul? And me and my armies go to Gaul, and I take the governorship of Gaul, and whoever's there now can go to Macedonia. And Cicero correctly points out, that's suspiciously suspiciously similar to what Caesar did, and how he kept his army kind of just within a day's march of Rome. So so it's an ever-present threat. If anyone ever wronged you, you could immediately march on Rome just like Caesar did. Weird how that works out, right? And Mark
Antony's like, I'd never even thought of something like that, dear Cicero.
Never even crossed my mind.
Imagine HBO Rome, but everyone just says what they mean. You could cut so much bullshit out of this series. Anyways, so Mark Antony's that's a good point that you made, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm going to kill you unless you go to the Senate and tell the senators that I need to be made governor of Gaul. And so,
hot gold or lead or something.
Yeah, they mentioned Crassus, and they mentioned Crassus and how.
Yeah, that's what happened to Crassus. They melted gold and poured it down his throat.
Yep, and so Mark Antony basically threatens Cicero with that, and so Cicero's like, yeah, do what you got to do. And so I'm cutting ahead. I'm just going to wrap up Mark Antony's story. Mark Antony goes to the Senate the next day, and he's fashionably late. You can tell everyone in the fucking Senate hates him. And he's like, all right.
No one's willing to stab him to death, though, like they did Caesar. That's
what
I was thinking. I was like, there's never any, guards around Mark Antony. So it's like, why don't all these senators just roll up on him and stab him to death?
They've set a precedent. So Mark Antony goes to the Senate the next day. He's like, all right, let's begin. I believe Cicero has something he'd like to say on the record. Oh shit, Cicero's not here. What's going on? And so then we cut to another senator, and he's like, yeah, Cicero is sick, but he sent a message along. And Mark Antony
sent this hot in the entire episode. It's a good scene.
Mark Antony never ever expects to lose. He always expects everyone to fall in line with whatever he wants. And so he's like, oh well, clearly Cicero is just going to he's written out the message that I expected him to present. And so this guy opens up the scroll, and it's like, these being the words of whatever his name is, Cicero. Mark Antony, you suck, you deranged prick. You look like a fucking donkey. Nobody likes you. I hope you die. Your fucking fingernails are dirty and crusty. How about you get the fuck out of Rome and drop dead, you lousy motherfucker.
I hear you have bad dick game too. Just everything. It's a hot diss track, is what it is. It's really good.
It's an ancient diss track. I like that. Yeah, that's a good way to.
Yes, 100%. And as this guy's reading this, all the other senators just get up and leave. They fucking flee while Mark Antony is demanding that this narrator finish the message. And of course,
poor guy is so scared. He does not want to keep reading this. And Antony's like, finish it.
Go on. Yeah, and so when he's done, Mark Antony beats the guy. Maybe to death. I don't actually know. We don't ever see this guy again.
Definitely to death.
All right,
he's definitely dead.
All right. Well,
100%.
Mark Antony is not pleased. So he kills this guy, and I'm going to put a pin in the Mark Antony story there. So what's happening with our good friends Verendus and Pullo? Varinus continues to be this like crime boss at the Aventine Collegium, whatever the fuck this place is called. I'm just going to call it the crime lair because that's basically what it is at this point. Varinus is basically the main like mob boss at the crime lair, and he is like all joy is gone from his life. He is just he's a hard ass
in ancient Rome time, Steve.
Yes, things are bad. Things are very bad in Rome, and Varinus is just not enjoying life. He's a hard ass to everyone. Pullo and I don't know who's the other military guy that just kind of showed up. I don't remember his name. Other military friend. Pullo and other military friend are downstairs throwing dice, and Varinus comes down. And he's like, "Yes, go make a grain deal from this guy. Tell him we will offer him this amount of money, and if he doesn't accept, we'll just fucking kill him." And Pullo's like, "Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right." And Varinus is shuts Pullo down, and the other military friends like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take care of it." So they send him out. Meanwhile, two other random Roman guys come up to they want to schedule a meeting with mob boss Varinus, and so they go to him and they're like, "Yeah, my buddy here, whose name I think is Carbo. Carbo's like 12-year-old nephew was basically like." He's prostituting himself. Yes, he is being assaulted by a prominent member of Roman society. We came to you for permission to kill him, and Varinus was like, absolutely not. The boy was paid. This is not a crime. This was prostitution. And everyone else, and so the other side's like, it's about the honor of the thing. This shouldn't be allowed to happen. And Pullo is saying, look, even if this is legally allowed, morally it's wrong. We should do something about this. And Varinus turns to Pullo and just shuts him the fuck down.
About what's not morally correct.
But Varinus,
neither one of these characters had the moral high ground anymore.
No, absolutely not. But Varinus tells Pullo, it's like, you will not fucking question my authority when I am out, making deals. Basically, Titus Pullo, you are no longer a friend. You are just an employee of mine. Is basically what's happening here. And so these other guys are like, okay, we respect your position, Mr. Crime Boss Varinus, and then they immediately go and cut the guy's dick off, as they should. And so then Varinus has to retaliate because he is the mob boss. He told them, no, don't do this thing. And then they did the thing. So Varinus then sends the other military buddy along with a gang that supports Varinus, and they assault the guy who did the dick cutting. And so it's just this tit for tat sex crimes episode of HBO's Rome.
Spiraling out of control here.
Spiraling out of control. So now Varinus is almost like happy that there's about to be just a massive fucking gang war in his neighborhood. And Pullo calls him out. And it's like, look, you just want to fucking die. Like, I get it. You hate yourself for what you did to your family. You're trying to trigger a gang war so that you can die and feel punished. And Varinus is like, he doesn't care. So he and Pullo begin fighting. Pullo lets it slip that he knew that Niobe had an affair, and he tries to walk it back, but Varinus is not having it, and so they get into a fight. Varinus accuses Pullo of having an affair with Niobe, and Pullo's like, I never fucking touched Niobe, and Varinus is like, I don't believe you. And so Pullo's like, you know what? I did fuck her. I fucked her. Half the people on the hill fucked her.
Whenever you left, like legs open, like everyone on the hill came down. It was
Yeah, so they get into a fight, and they like crash through a window and fall down like one floor of this building. Pullo leaves. He is actually like fucking done with Varinus at this point. And so he leaves, and Varinus just like curls up into a ball crying. And so what happens next? What happens next is the writers of the show actually figured out 7 episodes from the end that it might be a good idea to put something in the show that allows the audience to know like the passage of time. And so we after what are we on? After like 15 episodes, we get words on the screen that say 3 months later. And so it's like Polo just immediately walks back into the Aventine. It's like, yeah, strange,
like nothing ever happened.
Strange wife of mine that I bought out of slavery. Yeah, it's been 3 months. It's probably time for me to make up with Furnace.
It was so fucking stupid. He was like, the gods told me I must come back and speak with him.
Yeah,
and get this. It's like
that's the problem. That is the problem with this show here, is that we miss so much potentially great connective tissue. And I think, when I first watched this show when it came out, I loved this show. And rewatching this show, I was super excited. It started out really great. And now I realize, I think Spartacus has kind of spoiled me from this kind of stuff now, because that 3-month time period, I wanted to see more development. I didn't want to go from I'm walking out to 3 months later, the gods have really just kept, it's bugging me, I gotta go make up with the guy. It just felt so rushed, with no development, no anything. Yeah, man, these sort of, even without that, you set aside the 3 months later, the title screen sort of thing there, but just the time jumps here. I know it had happened in Spartacus. There were plenty of time jumps in Spartacus, but it felt like they wrote the characters in such a way that when there was a time jump, their actions made sense for when they're interacting with other characters later on. Here, it makes no sense at all. It's like, I hate you, I'm done with Varanus. The gods are telling me I got to go make up with them.
Yeah, in world, in universe, it was 3 months of character development for Titus Pullo. For us, it was 10 seconds. Titus Pullo leaves. 3 months later, Titus Pullo returns. It is just, I get it. Like, they basically, the creators were told, you got to fit. We're ending your series, so if you want to tell your story, you've got to cram 4 seasons of material into one. But they made some bad choices here. And look, I'm not a professional editor. No one's going to pay me millions for this. But I can't imagine anyone looks at this and is like, yeah, you made the best of this situation.
Yeah. No. Even giving them that fairness, so like they were given a pretty raw fucking deal. Like, my understanding is he was like, I don't know if that actually does affect this episode, because from what I've heard, he was about midway writing season 2 when he got told, like, oh yeah, actually you're not getting another season. So I don't know if he had to go back and rewrite episodes and cut shit out, or if all the real bullshit happens in the next couple of episodes of like incredible time crunch. I'm not sure where where all the condensing of shit's really going to happen.
I'm sure if you're writing though, like, and you're halfway through a series, and let's say you have, there's 10 episodes here, so let's say you've written 5 scripts, and then you're told, oh, by the way, you're canceled, and you're writing the back 5 scripts, you're going to have to go back and alter and change what's in those first 5 scripts that you wrote, because you're like, well, I can't just shove everything I was going to do in 5 episodes. I'm going to have to cut and modify what was in those original scripts to try to make it all fit and work.
Yeah, I was setting stuff up in episode 3 that would pay up in episode 7, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that very well could be what happened. We don't know the exact time frame for it. I do know with these kind of productions, a lot of times you will get told, oh yeah, actually you will get, like, this sort of thing will happen to you mid-writing or whatever. You oftentimes TV shows don't have the courtesy of being told in advance that, like, oh yeah, actually this is, like, we're canceling you after this. They're usually told during mid-production. And they also don't extend their time frame either. So, like, oh yeah, not only are we cutting your budget, we're not only we're canceling your show, but you have to also now, like, go back and rewrite while still having the exact same amount of production time left. So, like, that could explain why this because they literally didn't have time for it. They just had to. They couldn't go back and come up with anything better. So, oh, it's a time jump. We'll put a thing on the screen for once.
Regardless, it was bad. It was bad how they had to handle it.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back to what's happened. So 3 months later, Titus Pullo comes back, and something that I didn't mention before is after the ancient Roman diss track happened, we see Cicero, and he's leaving Rome, and he tells his I don't know. I assume one of his slaves. Send a message to Octavian that we would appreciate his support going forward. And so 3 months later, Pullo has come back. The gods have told him to make peace with Varenus, but he goes back to the crime boss lair, and everything is in ruins. Everything is burned down. And then the other military buddy comes back. It's like, hey, Pullo, you're back. How about you help us in the gang war that Varenus started? And
don't you want to murder some people?
and Pullo's like, no, I'm not about that life. Wait, where's Varenus? Like, oh, he left with Mark Antony. Mark Antony turned traitor on Rome and left and assembled an army and is now trying to take over Rome. So that's what the 3-month gap covered. Like, Mark Antony left and he's going to attack Rome now. But Caesar, the new Caesar, Octavian, has also been using this time to marshal his forces, and so now he's got an army. So it's Octavian versus Mark Antony, and Varenus is supporting Mark Antony, and just then Lyde, I think, who is Varenus' sister-in-law, Lyde shows up and recognizes Titus Pullo and is like, hey, Varenus' kids are alive. And so Pullo immediately sets off to go find Varenus. So those are kind of the two main stories that are happening here. What's happening with Pullo, what's happening with Mark Antony. Other things that happen in this episode, there's Adia has a new slave boy named Duro that you find out that is actually an assassin hired by Servilia. And I don't know, is there anything?
He's putting poison in the soup.
Yeah.
Brutus is they're
forgot about Brutus.
They're trying to beg for support to raise an army. And Brutus gets drunk. He's like, you soiled my honor. Oh. Brutus is having his come to Jesus moment or whatever in the lake.
Yeah. So the actual final shot of this episode is Duro actually pours poison into a pot of stew that Adia is supposed to eat. Before all that,
he makes Servilia kiss him and stuff.
Yeah, I don't have any much to say about this Duro character because ultimately he's spoilers, he's gonna die next episode. If something was going to be cut for time, it should have been Duro because he contributes nothing.
He shows up and they mention his name yesterday, and I'm like, what? This motherfucker? Was he introduced in a previous episode?
I don't think so.
I think he was. I think he was in the last one because remember the main bald slave guy. He shows up at the door or whatever, and that bald slave guy is like, oh, you can come work for me. You got to give me a little something, and they have that weird sex scene. And then they show it again this episode, that slave guy having sex with him again.
I don't remember Duro in previous episodes whatsoever.
Remember that scene, but I didn't recognize that was supposed to be Duro in that, because I was he would just have some random Roman gay sex. I mean, it's whatever. Good for them. Have that random sex, but it's usually not consensual.
Anyways, Duro tries to poison Adia at Servilia's behest. I don't care about Duro. What's going on with Brutus is, he is trying to assemble an army. He and I think Cassius is his name, one of the other kill Caesar co-conspirators, and he is not having any luck.
I want to see a Roman woman.
Yeah, I don't know who these guys are, but it's clearly someone rich and powerful. And basically, the deal they make is this guy says, "I will, I'll give you my army, and in return, I want to watch a baboon fuck a Roman woman."
Yeah, that's right.
Meanwhile, Brutus is just drunk off his ass, and the other random folks in this tent are making comments about how noble it was for you to stab a man that was dying, and Brutus is trying to defend himself. He's like, I did a noble thing, and the guys are like, Caesar was already dead and dying on the floor, right? And Brutus is like, yes, and I'm the one that took his life. I am a hero. I'm the one that killed Caesar. And it's clearly he's trying to convince himself of this still. And the guys are like, I think I'm going to go find a corpse and stab it and then tell people that I killed it too. And Brutus is losing his shit. He's about to pick a fight with this guy, and Cassius is like, "Yeah, dude, control yourself. We got to leave." And then later on, Brutus I don't know, undresses and goes and out into a lake to float around and like make some plea to the gods.
Baptism. What one might say an ancient baptism that a certain religion might have co-opted.
It's weird. That's where your mind went to, because my mind went to, oh, this motherfucker wants to die via crocodile. That's what he wants. There's going to be a crocodile, and he's going to somehow because I know he doesn't die here. But I was just like, this was stupid. No one would ever do this because they know what's in the water. That was where my mind went to.
One thing that is interesting about this show, and even in Spartacus and stuff, I think it must be said that so far, both in Spartacus and in Rome, the male actors are not shy about going like full frontal nude in these shows, which is interesting because in most of this kind of stuff you just see women naked, but in these shows, got to give it props to these actors who are just letting it all hang out there for the crocodiles.
I believe it's also mainly because these aren't like American productions, like a Spartacus. That was like a New Zealand production. This is British. For them, it's like, cock and balls, that's fine. We'll just have all that stuff flapping out. But in America, we're taboo about, like, nudity unless it's titties. So, that's probably it. Like, it's one of our weird hang-ups.
Is there anything I missed? Like, I feel like this episode, it's moving so fast because of the time crunch, and yet I have so little to say about it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This 50 minutes was 2 fucking hours. Somehow.
Wait. Was this where Agrippa pops up in this episode, or is that the next episode?
No, he's in this one.
On
another character that I think is completely unimportant. But Agrippa, I guess, is like one of Caesar's soldiers, or one of Octavian's soldiers and friends, and
they're calling him Caesar at this point.
They are calling him Caesar. Just I don't want to be confusing. Caesar 2, Electric Boogaloo is sent Agrippa with a message to.
Oh no! Hopefully he's recording and we get that, and he leaves that in.
No, I'm hoping that this didn't just nuke his recording.
Yeah, that would suck. Hold on. Let me send him a text.
I think he probably knows something bad, catastrophic.
Okay, save your recording now. Okay. Wow, alright. Did he leave the party?
Well, he's still sitting there. I'm willing to bet he's timing out right now.
Just gonna check to see if he is still. Yeah, it shows he's still in the party.
Yeah, it's like he hasn't sent anything via the Discord yet.
I'm gonna start the record. All right, just talk.
Okay. All right, we're back, folks. Massive technical difficulties going on Steve's end today.
It really is.
But that was probably what you just heard, folks. Is the most entertaining thing that happened in the entire episode of episode 3 of Rome. So hopefully that was fun. Steve, let's wrap up your final thoughts on this episode of Rome.
Worst episode of the series by far. It's like not even close.
Okay, Ronan, your thoughts.
I'm glad to see that. Everyone is slowly but surely coming around to my opinions from early on, season 1. Like, I hate this. Now suddenly, you guys are it's happening to you too. So this makes me feel good.
I'm pretty sure I'm not even at the same table as you guys anymore.
Oh, I'm not even at the table. We bounced out of it.
Oh!
Your avatar was just sitting there. It said you went offline, came back online,
and your avatar was still
sitting at the table. So we were like, we better get out of the actual.
Oh, see, I thought it was putting me back into the same game you guys are in. Anyways, God, do we have anything else? I'm just gonna go edit these together and end this bullshit.
I just want to say my final thoughts. I'm not completely on Ronan's side yet. I don't hate this show, but this was definitely the lull. This was the worst point of our Rome adventure. So yeah, thumbs down on this episode.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to another poorly produced episode of Jupiter's Croc. We'll be back in 3 months for another episode of this bullshit.